All right, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well this Monday night. Welcome to Note Night in America. As always, Scott Carson, excited to be here with you guys, and I am really honored to have this special guest tonight. It's always nice as you travel the country and you meet with other real estate investors and educators and people that run RIAs. I mean, I've spoken at hundreds of RIAs at meetup groups, investment clubs across the country, and you always know when you meet somebody special, somebody who's got a big heart, not only for what she's doing, but for the people that she comes in contact with tonight. And for a while, I've been wanting to get her on Note Night in America here on Monday night. And with Note Camp, I thought, what a great way to have this Monday be dedicated to somebody who's doing just an amazing job out there and is going to leave everybody here who's watching this either on Zoom, watching this on Facebook, catching this on the YouTube replay, or listening to this on the Note Night in America podcast later on. You are in for a treat tonight with my friend Stacy Rossetti. Stacy is the founder of the South Atlanta RIA Club. She's a very active real estate investor and educator. And like I said, she's got a huge heart for helping people in our community really get over those mind hurdles, those mind blocks of investing in real estate. And she has done an amazing job in super simplifying down the self-storage business aspect of. She's a very active investor doing some amazing things. I think you're going to love tonight's webinar. And so I'm honored to have Stacy join us here tonight on Note Night in America. What is going on, Stacy? How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know you and I are both a little brain fried from being on so many webinars and conferences and stuff like that, but I'm glad you're here. And I know that our audience is definitely looking forward to tonight's call as well, too, for you. So I know you've got a PowerPoint, something you want to pull up and dive into. And did you want to ask questions?
Oh, yeah. Let me share my screen and then I'll put it up. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Let me pull it up and then we'll be good to go. Hang on just one second.
No problem.
Okay. Let me share. I got all distracted with the sound. So, okay. So that's coming up. And oops, let me X out of this. Share this. Okay, there it is. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, I sure can.
Okay.
Do you want to put it in presentation mode?
All right, so let's get started. All right, I don't know how much time we have.
You got an hour.
I got an hour, okay.
Yeah, but do you want to put it in presentation mode so that it's a little bit bigger so the ones on the left-hand side don't show?
Well, I'll do the presentation, and then after that, yeah, and then if you have questions, then anybody can ask me questions as well.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to jump off screen, but I'll be here in the back, okay?
Okay, all right, so let's see here. Let me get this. See if I can get this going. Okay, all right, so you got my screen now. Okay, so everybody, okay, all right, so my name is Stacy Rossetti, and I have been investing in real estate now for about 10 years. And I'm gonna put this over here so I can at least see myself a little bit. And so when I started out wholesaling and rehabbing, and then I got pregnant at the age. I got pregnant at the year of 2016 is what happened. And when I was pregnant, I was actually doing like 20 rehabs at one time. And if anybody knows anything about doing rehabs, if you're doing one rehab, you're already running around like a crazy person. Just think about when you're doing 20 rehabs at a time, right? And so in my mind, like as a mother to be, I was thinking to myself, how in the hell am I going to like have this baby and take care of this baby and be a mother when I have like all these rehabs going at the same time? So I started really thinking about passive income. And the thing with rehabs is like, you don't really know when you're going to make any money. Like whenever you close on the deal is when you're going to make money, right? But so I said, okay, well, let me start thinking about passive income. And, you know, we had acquired a couple of rental properties along the way, but we hadn't really saved any money. We'd just been living off the money that we had made, right? So I told like everybody I know that I just want to start looking for passive income. And so that's kind of how it started. And I said, and then people started sending me deals, and I got sent a deal, and I looked at multifamily. I looked at like every type of deal out there that you could do, like that could be passive income. I was thinking about buying a portfolio of like 20 houses or whatever. But I came across this storage facility, And we're going to go through and we're going to talk about like how to get into storage and like, you know, all the different things that you can be doing right now to get into storage. And actually, while we're here, I think if we have the chat, are we talking in chat? Allowed to talk in chat? I don't know. If you want to talk in chat, is anybody here? Has anybody actually done like a storage deal? I'm not sure. You can put it in the Q&A or in the chat. But I came across this this self-storage, and I'll tell you a little bit about it as I tell the story about myself. But and you guys can kind of ask me questions about it. But it was like, and the good thing is that this storage facility was only a couple of minutes away from my house. It's like 15 or 20 minutes away. So in my mind, I was like, yes, like this is going to be good because it's like right around, you know, it's right around the corner for me. And I drove up and I took a look at the storage facility, and it's not this one in the picture, it's a different one. But it was super duper dumpy. It was like horrible. It was run down. There was a long row of storage units, and then all the way around it was parking. Right. And it looked like it was built like in the 1980s, and the owner just like kind of gave up on it, just totally gave up. And so what happened was I talked to the owner. I went and I talked to the owner. I said, so tell me the story about your storage facility. And he had built it in the 1980s. He'd had it for like almost 30 years or whatever. And he just was tired of it. He was tired of it. And when you looked at the storage facility, you could totally tell that he was tired of it. He just did not want anything to do with it anymore. He said his wife wanted to retire and move to Florida. And actually what I found out is it had been on the market and had been for sale for 5 years, and nobody had bought this thing, right? Nobody had bought it. And so we'll kind of go through like what you need to be looking for storage facilities so that you can find something like this. But he had it on the market for 5 years. Nobody bought it. This was in 2016, 2017 is when it was, like right in the beginning of 2017, I think. And this is like when the market was like the hottest, right? I mean, that's why, and the reason why he had it on the market for $500,000 was because if it was full, if it was actually full and making money, it would have been worth about that much or more, right? But the problem is that it was full, and he was making no money at all. And I asked him, I said, so what? I said, so like how much money are you making per month on this thing? And I counted out all the units. There was like I think 60 or 70 units all the way across in one row. And then there was probably around 40 to 50 parking spots. In my mind, I was calculating those numbers up and trying to figure out like how much it was worth. But he was only making like $2,000 a month. Now you can calculate this out. If you guys want to get a calculator and calculate this out, you can calculate this out, okay? The average storage facility unit in America is around $90 a month, okay? The average. He had his storage facility units. He had those, he sold them for like anywhere from $35 to $50, and he should have honestly been getting around on average like $75 to $80 a month for those. So and the reason I found that out is because I called all the competition around him, and he was like half the price of what everybody else was. Okay, so in my mind, I quickly kind of calculated that. I said, okay, on average maybe there's 100 units. In the end, there ended up being around 120 units, but there's about 120 spaces and units at like 75, let's say $75 a month, right? I mean, it comes out to like, a lot of money. It comes out to quite a bit of money every single month. And he was making only $2,000 a month. And I said, so you're only making like $2,000 a month, you should be making so much more. And he was like, oh yeah, I told you they're full. He said, that means I didn't say that they were paying. I said they were just full, like they're just full of crap, right? And he's like, and I'm not going to clean them out. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to clean them out. So in the end, what happened was I actually offered him, so he had it on the market for on the market for $500,000, and I offered him $250,000. And he said, I'm not going to take that. And I said, well, that's what it's worth. So that's what I'm going to offer. I was like, you've had it on the market for 5 years and nobody's going to buy it. And I said, the reason that nobody's going to buy it is because nobody can go and get a loan for this. Literally nobody can go to the bank and get a loan for this property because you have no P&L, you have no balance sheet. He was cash only. That's it, cash only. He had no records of anything at all. I said, the only way that somebody can come and borrow money and go to a bank and buy this is if you show them that there's income, and you can't do that. So because of that, I'll buy it, but I'm going to have to go and borrow like really expensive money to buy this. I'm going to have to go get a lender, a private lender, to lend me the money. And it's going to be like double of what it would be if I went to the bank. So a couple days later, I think he must have thought about it. A couple days later, he called me back, and I got that property for $250,000. So now let's just say that was my very first property. That was around 4 years ago. And it took us a good year to really kind of figure out what we were doing. And that facility did not scare me at all, because it was like a rehab for me. It was like, it was just a storage facility instead of a house, you know what I'm saying? So for me to get in there, clean it up and there were tires everywhere. The cars, like there was no way, like there was no organization to where the cars parked. He was just like, yeah, just go find a spot, kind of a thing. And the units were completely full, and he had never cleaned. When people moved, like didn't pay, he just never cleaned them out. He didn't evict anybody. He didn't do any auctions or anything, And so it took us a good year to clean that sucker up, to really get it nice and clean. And so now we're making around probably between $6,000 and $7,000 a month on that property, right? And our monthly expenses for that property are around $2,000 a month. That's it. Our mortgage plus, like that's the one thing I love about storage facilities, is that there's hardly any bills at all. I think our electric is like $50 a month. Now there's no office or anything like that. I buy the ones that have like no office. Okay. And because I don't want any overhead. But yeah, it's like 50. I think I spend like $50 a month on pest control, $50 a month on electric. We do spend some money on marketing, but very little money on marketing. Let's see what else. Mortgage and insurance on that, and it comes out to around $2,000 a month. That's it. And we're making like at least $6,000 a month. And then on top of that, we've added so much value to that property that it's now worth between $500,000 and $600,000. And that happened all literally within like the last couple of years. It only took us a year to add that value. Really, it only really took us a year. We could have sold that property a couple of years ago and made $500,000, $600,000 on it. But we're holding on to it because that's what we want to do. And we're buying as many storage facilities as we can. But that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg of what type of properties are out there. And so when you get into the storage investing world, basically the way that it works is there's 3 different types of storage investing out there. Okay, there is the mismanaged properties, right? And this is what I tell all my students. There's mismanaged properties, right? Exactly like the one that you just heard. People don't want them. Now you have to come out of pocket every single month for those, right? Because I had to pay. I wasn't making any money for many, many, many months. So we had to come out of pocket a lot of the times, right? So the first year we had to come out of pocket just to afford all the bills and get it on, fix stuff and all kinds of stuff. And then another thing with mismanaged properties is that you can't go out and get a loan for those. You have to borrow private money. You have to borrow, and the lender has to be okay with you holding the note for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, right? I have some lenders that say, 10 years, it's fine. So you have to be able to hold that note, because but you can always refinance out later once you get it up and running. But the first year or two, you're going to have somebody hold that note. Okay. So that's mismanaged properties. Number 2 is you can buy a cash flowing property, right? So these are properties that are not mismanaged. They're viable businesses that are doing fine within the industry. Okay, so that means that you can go out and you can find a facility that's, let's say, 75% or more fuller, right? So they're almost full or fuller, or full, and then you can buy those facilities as well too. Okay, and and then all of a sudden you just start making money every single month, right? It's a cash flowing property. It's a business. There's not a lot of value add to those properties, right? But if you can find properties like that that are in double-digit cap rates, right, then that's a very, very good buy. And now most of the properties that when you go and look on like online and stuff, they're not going to be double-digit cap rates. Sorry, do not go online to look for storage facilities, because realtors get into the middle and realtors think they know how to to analyze deals, and they think they can sell them at 5, 6, 7% cap rates. But we don't do that, right? We buy double-digit cap rate or higher facilities. Okay, but so you can do cash flowing properties and you can do miscellaneous properties. What I do is I mix and match facility, and I have to come out of pocket $2,000 a month every single month. Well, guess what? I'm going to go out and find a facility that's also making $2,000 or more a month to offset that mismanaged property, right? So I kind of figured that out, how to do that along the way as well too, right? So I'll balance it out by buying a mismatched property with the cash flowing property. Okay, so I'm in the process of buying 3 more storage facilities, and I'll close in the next couple of months. I just bought a mismanaged property just a couple months ago, and so I'm buying these. It's going to offset that cost of the mismanaged property. That makes sense. Okay, and then the third way that you can get into storage investing is through building, right? You can go out, you can procure the land and buy it. You can do a feasibility study, environmental study. You can go out and rezone it if it's zoned agriculture or what is it. You have to go out and rezone it. And you got to lay the foundation, clear the lot, lay the foundation, put the buildings up. I personally do not want to do that because I'm too lazy, but a lot of people do that in the investing world, right? They're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go buy land and put a storage facility up. All right, so so that's why so that's how you can do that, and that's just a lot of upfront money is what that is, because you have to buy the land, you have to hold the note for the land, and then you have to do a feasibility study, environmental study, and get it rezoned, and that could cost like upwards of maybe $30,000, something like that. So you just have to be able to afford the land and all those studies that come with it, and then you have to be able to buy all the material to build and get it built. And then from there, you're starting from scratch, right? So, okay, well, now I spent all that money. Now I got to build, I got to get it all filled up. I got to market to get it filled up. And a lot of people don't really think about the whole process. They all want to get into self-storage, and I totally get it, because I personally feel like it's the best kept secret in the real estate investing world, but nobody listens to me. So, but you have to remember that when you get into the storage world, not only does it take time to find a good deal, right? A double-digit cap rate deal, right? And then you have to fund that deal, right? Depending on what type of scenario that you pick, but then you have to run it, right? So I say find, fund, run, right? And when you run it, you have to really understand how to truly manage a business, because when you buy a storage facility, you are buying a retail business. You are buying a business that you have to market, and you have to find tenants and train your tenants, and you have to really manage your business like a business, all right? And a lot of people totally don't even think about that third step, all right? So we are not going to do that, right? We're going to find, fund, and run. We're going to learn on that running section. We're really going to truly educate ourselves on how to make money and profit from it. Okay, and it's not as easy as it looks, right? It's not easy as it looks. Okay, all right, so let's get started. That's my intro to me and everything about me. Okay, all right, so there are challenges in the self-storage industry that people don't really think about, and some of the challenges are that you have to find motivated sellers, right? So like I said, what did I say about where you find storage facilities? You do not find storage facilities online. I mean, a lot of people go online. The lazy people go online, right? But the lazy people don't get the best deals. And I talked to one seller, and I said, I was like, would you be interested in selling a facility? And he was like, no, I want to buy another one. And I said, oh, okay, well, I have a couple like here around the area. I'm looking to buy one. He's like, hey, let me ask you. He's like, what kind of cap rate do you get? And I personally, I get anywhere from 12 to 18% cap rate on my storage. Okay. So I told him that and he was like, what? He's like, I only get like 7% cap rate. And I was like, yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. But I said, that's why I could never buy your storage facility actually, because you're not making enough money for me. So, but so finding motivated sellers and finding sellers that truly understand kind of what you're going to offer them. All right. Because when you talk to a seller, you're going to be offering them how they can actually save on their capital gains and they can make money by not just selling their property out with cash, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're going to teach all this to them. All right. So number one, finding motivated sellers. Number two, closing deals, right? Because that's the hardest part. That's what I said, the three that I'm going to buy this next month here. We went like, so I called the store. Actually, no, I drove by the storage facility and I saw this, and he had one and I called it. And I said, okay, I thought he had one. And I called him up and I said, would you be interested in selling? And he said, well, actually, he's like, I never really thought about it. And I said, well, I'm looking for some storage facilities. I was like, I live right around the corner from you. And I'm just, trying to find some storage facilities. I already have 6. So I'm looking for a couple more. I was like, I really thought about it. And I said, well, would you be interested in meeting? He said, yeah, okay. And I said, well, what about right now? I'll come up. And he's like, okay. So this because he just like sits around and does nothing all day, right? Because he's a storage facility owner, right? He doesn't know how to manage his properties. Like me personally, I'm out like looking for storage facilities all the time, right? But not him. He's managing a storage facility. So I went up and he showed me the one that I was interested in. He's like, I got 2 more. And he showed me the other 2. And then he took me around and showed me his cows and he showed me his house. He said, this is my house. This is my daughter's house. This is my business. I own that property and that property. He took me all around and just drove me around and showed me everything. And we talked for like 2 hours and he showed me everything. And he was just like, and then at the end, he's like, I really like you. We're like swapping like, storage facility stories and stuff. And I was like, what about that tenant? And he was like, oh, I had this tenant and this kind of a thing, right? I'm telling you, this is how storage facility owners are. This is how they are. You can't buy a list. You can't mail to them. You can't do anything like that because they're just not that. The people that you're going to be buying from are not that type of folk. You know what I'm saying? So after I spent a couple hours with him, he's like, I really do want to sell my property. I don't think I'll sell my properties to you. So, and then I said, well, he said, what do you want to pay for them? And I said, I'll pay this. He's like, oh, that's a little bit, like, that wasn't my number. I was like, well, what's your number? And he told me my number. He told me his number. And I was like, I'm not going to pay that much. Sorry. That's just too high. And it wasn't really too bad. I wanted $550,000 and he wanted $620,000. It wasn't really too bad, but I was like, no, I'm not going to pay that much and stuff. And he's like, that's really what I want. And I said, well, I mean, what about owner financing? I was like, I'll pay it if you owner finance it to me. He's like, oh no, I wouldn't do that. And I said, okay, well, just remember that you're going to have to pay capital gains on the $620,000 that you get, right? So if you owner finance it to me, you can actually offset that capital gains and push that out, right? And you can pay that like later. And so he start like, and I said, just think about it and just let me know. But I said, I really only want to pay $550. He's like, I'm not gonna do $550. I said, okay. So a couple days later, he called me up. He said, okay, what about? He said, I'll owner finance. So he's going to owner finance it. I'm going to come up with some money and he's going to owner finance some of that money as well too. And we're going to close on the deal. And just because I went out there and spent time with him and got to know him, and he decided he wanted to sell to me. And that's basically how the storage industry works. All right. Is you have to be able to close the deal. You have to be able to find those types of sellers and close the deal. And, you've got to be able to make offers. And honestly, all I do is just, call people up and ask them if they want to talk. And if they want to talk, then I go out and I talk to them, okay, and take a look at the property. Okay, so, and I introduced myself a little bit, all right? So I've been investing in real estate now for about 10 years. I've done over 100 rehabs in the last 5 years. Okay, I've completed hundreds and hundreds of transactions in the last 10 years. I've taught hundreds of thousands of students just like you in all types of real estate investing. I love teaching people how to invest. I mean, that's just kind of my thing. That's my passion. And I own 6 facilities. We're about to buy 3 more right now. We're going to close in the next couple of weeks, and I'm always looking for more. My goal is to buy as many storage facilities as I possibly can, because it gives you the type of life, at least it gives me the type of life that I want, right? So for instance, right now I'm in Pennsylvania, right, visiting my husband's sister, and my storage facilities are in Georgia. We have been up here in the Pennsylvania, New York area for 2 months. 2 months. As soon as COVID started, my husband went up to spend time with my family, with his family. He's like, and he just took my daughter and he said, I'm just going to go hang out up with the family, make sure they're okay, and just, take care of them while we're doing all this. And he's been like fixing the roof and like fixing leaks in the house and doing this kind of stuff. And I was like, you ever work? And he works like an hour to 2 hours a week. He manages all of our facilities. I buy them, and then he manages them. And so we've basically set the business up so that it's completely automated and systematized, and we are completely hands off, right? Hands off. I mean, we literally only have to work, he only has to work a couple hours a week to manage all of the, let me just turn this off, it'll go. So to manage all of our facilities, we have around 60,000 square feet of storage. And in the storage world, it goes off of square feet, just don't know. And then we have around almost 500 doors. Okay, so I'm not like huge big player, but like we're slowly building over the past couple of years. We're building our portfolio up, right? But yeah, I love storage facilities. This is actually an abandoned storage facility, right? People don't believe me when I tell you there's abandoned storage facilities out there, but there are. In fact, the one that I bought in January, completely abandoned. I found it, drove up to it, guess what? No sign, nothing. And I saw that, I was like, yes. All right, I was so excited about that, all right? You have to know how to find these. It's really hard to find these things, all right? But they are out there, all right? So
Did this one have any? Did this one have any underlying debt on it, or how'd you pick this one up?
No, so this one actually this is an abandoned. This one we are trying to still get in touch with the owners, but this is not the one that I bought in January. Actually, the one on the very first page, on my very first slide, this one right here.
Okay.
Here is the abandoned storage facility that we just bought in January, okay? So that one here, but this one we drove around and we found it. I was so excited. I was like, take a picture of me. And then we are still trying to get a hold of the owners and skip trace the owners, and they're literally gone. It's like everybody's dead. It's one of those types of things where like the person that owned it died and the family members also died, and now it's just kind of like sitting there. We're trying to figure out who we can get a hold of to try to get ownership of the property, right? And it's literally completely abandoned. It's just like, and this like trees are growing next to it and stuff like this, right? So you have to be able to find these things, but they're out there. Okay, good. Yeah, so abandoned storage facilities. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, if you are interested in getting the 6-step system that I'm gonna talk about here in just a minute, just text 818-818 the word REIA, R-E-I-A, and you will get my 6-step system, okay? And it's basically a lead magnet. It's like a template. It's got all of my all the steps that you need to do in order to do exactly what I'm talking about now, what I'm going to be going over here in just a second. Okay, everybody's got that. Okay, now okay, so here are the 6 steps. This is exactly what you need focusing on right now. I'm going to give you all of the nuts and bolts to get started in storage investing. All ready? Okay, so when you think of your business as a self-storage owner, okay, you're going to think of like your business as having 6 different departments. There's only 5 of the departments. The last one I'm not going to go over, which is liquidations. But it's also, when you think of each department, you think of them as steps. Okay, so you have the office admin, right, setting up your office. You have the marketing, right, to find them. You have the acquisitions department next. and then you have finance, and then you have management, and you have liquidations, right? So when you download that template, you'll get all 6 of these steps. It'll show you step by step, and then within each of the steps, it'll go over exactly what I'm going to go over. Okay, so office admin, marketing, acquisitions, finance, management, and liquidations. So you have to set your office up, get everything all set up first, and then you got to start marketing to find the storage facilities. Then you have to acquire the storage facilities. Once you acquire them, you have to start finding money up for them, and then you've got to manage them, right, and run them properly. And after that, if you want to sell, you can sell them or you can hold on to them, right? So those are the 6 steps. So within your office admin, all right, this is the things that you're going to have to, these are the things that you have to focus on. You have to focus on, number 1, setting up your phones, okay? Setting up your phones. So that means that you have to have a personal phone and a business phone, which I'm sure a lot of you already have. But like when you have your storage facilities, you want a separate phone even for your storage facility. So essentially the way it started out for us is I like my personal phone, I had my business phone that I can call like storage facility owners to, or whoever wants to talk to me, to, all right? And then the tenants are going to call, and people that want to buy, get into your storage facilities, they're going to have their own, you're going to have your own number, okay? So it's really like 3 lines, and like when you buy one, you're going to have 3 different lines, okay? And you want to be completely electronic, because when you're going to go out and look for storage facilities, essentially what happens is you take your phone with you, right? And you're going to go look at these storage facilities, and then you're going to take pictures, right? And you're going to have all these pictures. And then what you do, at least what I do, is I have like Google Drive right on my phone right here. And I just create a folder right on Google Drive, and I just name it like, Butch's storage facility or whatever it is, whatever's going to remind you, oh, that's the storage facility. Okay, and then you create the folder on the drive, and inside the folder is where you're going to upload all your pictures, because what's going to happen is you're going to go out and start looking at storage facilities, and guess what? You're going to be like, they're all going to start running together, because when you see one storage facility, you see them all. They all look exactly the same, right? Maybe different colors and stuff, but so you want to make sure that when you're out and about, that you're using the Google Drive to create your folders and putting the pictures right into your drive. Keep nice and organized. I'm a very organized person. Okay, and so that's and that's why I talk about going electronic, right? When you're looking for storage facilities, you want to be as organized as you possibly can. You're going to be out looking for storage facilities, and it's very time consuming, and so you want to be as organized as you can. Okay, and then so the way that ours is, like, we have Miss Lillian Self Storage is the name of our storage facility, and then inside that folder, so we have one folder, Miss Lillian Self Storage, and then inside that folder we have like all of our different locations. So we have 6 different folders, and then you open that up, and every single one of those folders within each of within each of our locations has like a whole bunch of folders, like the auction processes and like all the different things that we do within the, like all the closing documents and stuff like that, like nice and organized. Okay, because we have to share with our team and share it with everybody as well. And you need to be able to set up an LLC, right? So this is it's a buy and hold. So you want to have an LLC, so it's a pass-through company, right? So you're going to have an LLC for and what we do, honestly, is we have LLCs for every single one of our storage facilities. You don't have to do it that way, but we just do it that way because we want to protect ourselves. And finally, you want to start building your team, right? You really do need to have like realtors that are looking for you. I have realtors that are looking for storage facilities, just in case, you never know, right? And you want to have, you want to start working on like, okay, how can I find these facilities, or how am I going to manage these facilities? So you want to work on building your team. And let's see, okay, so marketing, right? So now when you're marketing, the first thing that you need to do is you need to pick your market, right? Pick your market. So what that means is that the facilities that I focus on are going to be about $1 million or less, right? And the sweet spot is maybe $300,000 to $600,000. Okay. Now you can buy cheaper and you can buy more expensive, right? But for your first time, you really have to think to yourself, like, how much money do I have to spend, and how can I leverage my money. Because in the commercial real estate world, it's all about, it's the 80-20 rule. It really is the 80-20 rule, right? So that means like you're gonna have to put 20% down and borrow 80%, right? Now, unless you find a private lender that's gonna fund it, number one, or number two, you get it owner finance, like I said, and you still have to put money down though. So I'm going to have to put a little bit of money down for this, $600,000 deal. I'm going to have to put money down as well too. So because he's like, I'm not going to fund that much with no money down. So I have to put some money in, right? So, and even with the private lender, they're going to ask you to put some money. So you always want to think about 80-20 rule. Now with the market, okay, inside big huge cities, and I don't know where y'all are from, but inside big huge cities, it's not going to be easy to find any storage facilities. Why? Because the rule is that 85% of all storage facilities are mom and pop shops, right? And 15% are REITs, right? And 15% are like big boxes, right? Big box companies, right? And the big box companies, guess what? They come into Atlanta and Orlando and Denver and Boston and Austin and Dallas and all these big companies, and they just buy all of these storage facilities up. So it's very, very rare in the major metropolitan areas and the bigger areas that you're going to be able to find any storage facilities that you can afford or that you really even want, right? Because who wants a big ass storage facility, right? And sit there and like manage all that? No. You want to build passive wealth, right? So you want to have like, good sized facilities, right? Not like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 million facilities. My personal opinion. So now with the market, you have to go outside of the city, right? Outside of the city, right? So you're gonna have to go out in the burbs. And all of our storage facilities are hours away from us, right? So these are all like where we can, like Atlanta's here and we're all around here, right? So you can't, like, I know Scott is in Austin, like there ain't nothing in Austin. Austin's like super expensive. Everything's too expensive in Austin, right? So he's gonna have to go way out. We're thinking about actually moving to Austin. So we're looking like for storage facilities way out of
Bring it
Austin.
on.
Dallas, you have to be I have a student in Dallas, he's like way south. But
I was gonna say, if you come to Austin, bring it on. You and I can be running up and down I-35 between here
we
and
are.
Dallas.
I think yes. Well, I mean, yeah, I've been out there. No, I found a couple, like I did find a couple of rundown facilities in Austin in the South area, but they wanted so much money. I was like, oh my gosh, come on. So,
yeah,
Texas is actually quite expensive.
I haven't bought anything in Austin or even like Travis County in over a decade, Stacy. There's better deals outside of it. And if you do move here, hey, we'll partner up on some stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So now I call it driving for storage is what I call it. So basically what that means is that you want to go onto Google Maps. Okay. And then you just type in storage in your area, whichever market that you're going to be in, right? You're going to be like outside in the country of where you live and stuff. And you may already live in the country, I have no idea, but you want to be outside of the major metropolitan areas, and you just go onto Google Maps and you just type in self-storage, right? Or look up self-storage, mini warehouse, right? Is what you want to do. And then you just kind of get an idea of like, where are all the storage facilities? Take out all those big boxes, take out all the REITs, take those out, take out the ones that have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Take out the bigger ones and then look for those mom and pop shops. Now, those are not the ones you're gonna buy, all right? You have to buy the ones that are not on Google, right? Because the ones that are not on Google are the ones that are the best deals, all right? So what does that mean? You gotta drive for storage, all right? Which is actually one of my most favorite things to do, right? Just get in the car and drive around, and I just like wander around. I don't really wander around. You can strategically do it if you want, but I actually kind of just wander because it's like my own time in my car. My daughter, she's 4 years old. She's not like, bothering me. She's like at home or whatever. So I get like some free time. But essentially the goal is to find the storage facilities that are not on the map, because I'm telling you, the ones that are not on the map, 50% are on the map and 50% are not on the map. All right, every single storage facility I'm on is not on the map. Okay, and I'm getting double-digit cap rates, and the reason why is because I get to them first. They have no idea how to run the facility because they can't even figure out how to put their damn storage facility online, right? You know what I'm saying? So like I teach and educate them what their prices are, what their value of their storage facility. Then I buy it and I manage it properly and I raise that value. Okay. So that is how I find storage. And that is the hardest way to find storage facilities. Sorry. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, there's easier ways to do it, and you could probably, you know, send out letters or whatever everybody else is teaching. I don't know, but I'm telling you, the best deals are exactly what I just said. Okay, so now you have to acquire the property. So what that means is you have to understand how to run deal analysis on a commercial deal. All right, deal analysis means like you have to understand ROI, cash on cash return, yield, cap rate. In the storage investing world, we talk about cap rate, we talk about yield, ROI, cash on cash, we talk about square footage, we talk about population, we talk about latches and doors, and like, you know, this kind of stuff, like all the boring stuff, all right? But you gotta learn how to do that, okay? And you can't really run comps on a storage facility, right? You just can't do that. You have to run it based off of the income, okay? But what you can do is you can call around to the competition, see what they're charging, right? You know, what is the average of the 5 closest storage facilities and how much are they charging? And then you can, if it's a mismanaged facility, you can base your opportunity cost based off of their competition, okay? And so that's really acquisitions. I'm not gonna get super deep into it, but at least it gives you an idea of like what you need to be doing in the acquisitions field. And then you have to just make offers. We already talked about creative deal structuring, and you just have to make offers, right? Just like everywhere else, you're not going to get anything unless you make an offer, right? So that's that. And finance. Okay, so we did talk about creative deal structuring, and you'll hear more and more about this in the recession, I think, even too. A lot of people just get creative about it, you know. And then you can borrow private money, I said. So creative deal structuring, private money, hard money, right? Hard money. There's lenders out there right now that will let, lenders love storage facilities. I'm telling you, they love storage facilities. Storage facilities are recession proof. So you make money in the downturn and you make money in the upturn. It's awesome, all right? So that's why lenders love storage facilities. I talked to one lender and he was like, we've never had a foreclosure on a storage facility. We've been loaning them for storage facilities for like 30 years. You can never ever, like, rarely do you find storage facilities that are coming for auction or anything like this. It just never ever happens. And then when it does happen, they go for like ridiculous prices. So I'm just like, I don't even deal with those. And there's a lot more storage facilities coming on the market, but if you notice, they're the bigger ones, right? The bigger ones are having a lot of trouble. That's why I say don't buy a big one, because what's happening is they're charging like, you know, $100 to $250 a month because their overhead and how much it costs and all this type of stuff, right? So, you know, and they're rarely ever full. I mean, our storage facilities, except for one, is full, or even the one that we just bought in January is already halfway full, because people can afford $50 to $120 a month, but people can't afford right now, especially $150, $200. And so they're moving from those climate controlled units to those non-climate controlled units, right? And we focus on non-climate control because we cater to that niche. But there's nothing wrong with climate control, but just as long as you're not spending an arm and a leg, because a lot of people are struggling right now, they just can't afford it. Okay. And actually, the guy that I'm buying the 3 storage facilities from, he had a climate controlled facility. He just stopped it. He's like, it's just not making me money at all. So he was like, I just took it off and just started charging regular rates. And now it's full. I mean, he's 100% full right now. So, but he's actually the cheapest guy in town. Yeah, that's good. See, the cheapest guy in town. That's another good thing about that one, is I can raise the rents. Okay. Okay. Okay, so and then also commercial lenders. There's so many commercial lenders, and the SBA loan is like one the perfect loans for a storage facility. So if you can afford 20 to 30% down, highly recommend getting an SBA loan because their percentage rates are so cheap. It between 5 and 6%. You know what I'm saying? So get an SBA loan, go to a commercial lender. Might be a little bit more expensive with the commercial lender, private money lender, hard money lender, creative deals, and do creative deals structuring. And then if you're going to wholesale storage facilities, I wholesale storage facilities as well too, right? You can make some big bucks. I have a student wholesale a storage facility about 3 weeks ago. He made $100,000 on that deal. $100,000. He put it under contract and 30 days later he closed on it. Made $100,000. I wholesaled a storage facility a couple months ago and I made $55,000 on it. All right, so you can wholesale storage facilities as well too, but you do not want anybody to know that you are making that much money. You don't want the buyer to know and you don't want the seller to know. So guess what? You have to do transactional funding. You have to. All right, so what that means is you've got to borrow enough money to close that deal. And then borrow for 24 to 36 hours or however long you need to borrow for. And then that way you can separate those two costs out. And the buyer that doesn't know what you paid and the seller doesn't know what. Okay? So that is finance for it. Finance for the finance department. Okay. And then management. All right. So you know, I'm just one of those people that, like I said, you find, you fund, you run. All right. When you run a facility, you got to put your foot down. You got to put your foot down. I feel like Trump. You want to put your foot down. Was that Obama or Trump? I don't know. Anyways, but you got to put your foot down. Okay. So train your tenants. All right. You have to train your tenants. That means that the date that the money is due is the date that the money is due. All right. You know, so we do like a due date. The money is due on this day. The rent is due on this day. You're late on this day. You have overlock on this day, and auction process starts on this day, all within the same month. All right. So that means if you do not pay your rent by the 25th of the month, the auction process starts. And in the next month, your stuff is going to be auctioned off. And so we rarely have anybody that doesn't pay. You know, a couple of people here and there. We have auctions, but not very often, because we train our tenants, right? Because in the very beginning, and the reason I do this is because, look, I mean, for the first year, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Right? People would just say, no, I can't pay this month and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Screw that. This is the new rules. And I set it out. And I was like, this is it. If you don't like it, too bad. All right. And then after that, I mean, I just put my foot down. I put my foot down. Anyways, so train your tenants. All right. And like I said, go all electronic, right? So you can be anywhere in the world and still make money on your storage facilities. Over the past couple of months, I'm telling you, a lot of storage facility owners, they struggled because guess what? You have to go in, sign the contract, meet them, and take them out and give them whatever, give them the keys and unlock the facilities. But we don't do any of that at all. Essentially, online, you can reserve your space, sign your contract, and move in 5 minutes, right? And as soon as COVID started, we started to market that out. We're all electronic. You can move in 5 minutes. We don't even have to meet you. We got so many people that wanted to move in just because of that, right? So that's what I talked about, electronic. Not only do you get to actually create passive income based on having this life that you really want and dream of, right? You get to have a passive, you get to build passive wealth as well too, and don't get to travel and do whatever you want. All right, you have to understand the auction process and the tenant law in your state. Okay, so that means like every single state is completely different. What happens in Georgia and New York and Pennsylvania is completely different than where you guys are. You have to truly understand the auction process and tenant law process, okay? And automate and systematize so you can scale up. You don't have to be there. I called one storage facility owner and I was like, I'm interested in selling, buying your storage facility. She said, yeah, I'll sell it to you $1.4 million. I pay like $600 for this, $600,000 for this thing. And I was like, what, are you just there all the time? And she's like, yeah, I just come and work all the time. I was like, don't you get like bored? I mean, what the hell? She's like, yeah. She's like, during the first week, it's like super busy. She's like, everybody's like really slow. And I was like, why are you not like going out and trying to find other storage facilities to buy and stuff? I don't know. That's a mismanaged property right there. Trying to save money but she's she's not utilizing her time. So anyways, that's the end of the presentation. You can find me on YouTube as well too. I have some more like webinars if you're interested. And that's basically it. So I'm going to stop sharing and then I'll answer some of these questions here, okay? And you can find me on YouTube at Stacy Rossetti Teaches, okay, is the YouTube channel. But, and let's see what else. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. How did I get into self-storage and what does she think outlook for the next 5 years? Okay, so the outlook for the next 5 years is good, all right? It's good. I don't know what else to say.
Especially,
I mean, that's what I said. Go ahead.
Especially now with people that aren't paying mortgages, you know, no offense, but we're going to see, like we did last time, people moving out of houses, moving in apartments. When they downsize, they could put stuff in storage. When they aren't paying their mortgage, can't pay their rent, they're sure not paying their storage bills. And especially as we see a lot more of that middle class being squeezed, we're going to see an increase in rents. We're going to see a need for more self-storage, right, Stacey?
Well, that's what I said. In the downturn, everything is fine. And in the upturn, I mean, I'm telling you, because people are moving out and moving in and things are happening and just like, and honestly, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't personally build a storage facility right now because you just kind of have to wait and see. But there's so many storage facilities out there that are, you know, that are like, you know, they want to sell. If you talk to them, they'll sell it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why build one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And then I've estimated one before.
He's just asking a question.
For a hard bid. Okay.
Yeah. Jeff Wolf asks, how would I do this from California? If Jeff lives in down by, I think, Escondido, San Diego.
So I do have students in California. Yeah. Yeah. So I do this I have students in California and they're not buying in California. All right. So California, you can't find anything in California. Now you can find a lot of storage facilities for sale in California, but they're just like super duper expensive, right? And they're actually really good deals, but they're like, you know, $8 million or something like that. It's like, who wants to, you know, who has that, you know, or who wants to buy that? But, you know, but I highly like, so my students, what they're doing is they're looking like, for instance, where their family is. Like one of my students is in like Southern California. He has family in Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. So he's looking in California, he's looking in Minnesota. And the truth of the matter is, like I said, if you set it up and run it correctly, you could be anywhere in the world and still run your storage facilities, right? So this is something that you can be completely virtual at. So I would look like maybe Nevada. If you don't want to do California, Nevada or Arizona or Idaho or something like this, wherever you are in California, or someplace where your family is, where they can help you to be like the boots on the ground.
With your properties that you don't have an office, I know that you're doing one. Are you planning to have some sort of staff that's kind of managing the phones in one spot for all 6, 7 as you grow, for the most part? That's within what, a 30-minute drive or pretty close to where everything is, so they can go out and meet people for the most part?
Yeah, so we have about 500 doors, and we have an office manager that manages that, and it's about she works about 25 hours a week. And when we add on, we're going to add on another 200 doors, and she's going to move to full time. And then we have like a boots on the ground person that goes out like once a week to like overlock, clean out units, and pick up trash and stuff like that, because everybody always leaves trash. So, and he works like once a week, I think, or twice a week, something like this. That's it. That's all we got.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. Love it. Love it. And guys, if you have not texted the word RIA to 818-818, do so. Some great goodies on there. I love it. I did it because I love what you got there, Stacey. It's awesome. Looks sharp. Looking forward to this. And if you do move to Central Texas, we're gonna have some fun, because as my buddy Eric says, who's on here, he was like, there's a lot of small towns around Austin, Texas on the outskirts. Yeah, and it's a big state. And I think the Self-Storage Memberships Association website.
That's a big state, exactly.
Big state, but we've recently pulled the list of memberships at over 2,500 self-storage names on that list all across Texas. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here. And especially between here and Dallas. There's a lot of small towns, a lot of back roads with small, towns have got stuff that's just
Out in West Texas, South Texas, East. It's just kind of the central area. It's just really honest. It's Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio, and Austin. But everywhere else, it's like I'm getting out there. I'm going to find some stuff. I don't mind driving.
Yep, exactly. Well, guys, take her up on an opportunity. Text to get to download the forms. You've got a great class as well that you teach on this too, Stacy. You're very passionate about helping your students and really making some things happen. Next time you got one you're looking to wholesale, I would love a phone call. I would love an email and see.
Okay.
All righty. Good stuff then. Well, hey.
Usually it's one of those, sorry, I was going to say, usually it's one of those things where you just make a phone call and somebody wants to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Buy it.
Give me a phone call. Just call. That's all. Good stuff there. Well, hey, Stacey, you have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go here.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much.
Always.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Stacey, and we'll be in touch some more. All righty. All right, thanks. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up.
All right, take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. That's going to wrap it up for Note Night in America. Everybody go out, do something, take her up. Stacy knows what she's talking about. She's boots on the ground. She's not afraid to roll her sleeves up and get a little dirty, and that's the best way to learn. And she's done it there, and she can save you a lot of headaches, because when we start off with, you're often bootstrapped trying to make things done, and she's done an amazing job doing that. So take her up, text the word REIA, REIA to 818-818. I don't care where you're at. There's some opportunities around you. Maybe not in the heart of the city, but definitely on the outskirts. So it's something that we're also doing a lot of as part of our marketing we do here besides our note business. So go out, take some action, everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody.